Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show. Glad to have you guys here on this Friday, the 19th of April, 2024. We're going to look into the news. We're going to look into what's happening in... Oh my gosh, this situation. We were awaiting an Israeli strike on Iran after Iran had a strike on Israel, and we thought a big war was going to start up, and now this unusual situation came in last night. What it reminds me of, it kind of reminds me of a firecracker at July 4th. You know, you light the firecracker on the ground, July 4th, and you're standing there watching the fuse burn, and you're thinking, okay, this is going to be a loud bang. Oh boy, here it's going to go off. And then it goes, psst, it fizzles out. And you're waiting and waiting and looking at it, and you don't see any more smoke coming out of it. That might have been what just happened. But we're going to talk about what's happening in Georgia. I don't think this is Georgia in the United States. This is Georgia as in... They advanced a Now, what this is all about, what I think it's all about is countries are getting ready for war. This is an foreign influence bill passed through. They're trying to pass it through Parliament. And they're having an awful lot of people, 20,000 people blocking traffic in front of the Parliament building. No to the new Russian law. These countries are starting to... I could see this coming and spreading to other places. Laws that are surrounding when the world is at war. Things that you can do, freedoms that you have, this can extend to the whole world. Freedoms that you normally have. At wartime, well, here in Canada, it wasn't that many months ago, Trudeau, he put in the War Powers Act. And for a few days, we were under the War Powers Act. And under something like that, like the War Powers Act, there's totally different rules. And in the United States, I think they call it martial law, you know, or War Powers Act. It's all basically the same thing, where it gives them total power and control over the people during that period in time. No questions asked, you know. I mean, and you can see countries can actually move in that direction during wartime. We're getting closer to wartime. Ukraine says it shot down a Russian strategic bomber after a strike kills 9. Russian officials said the plane crashed over the southern Sevastopol region due to technical malfunction. And Ukraine's Air Force said it shot it down. I never knew there was so much... there's such a fog of war. It's a fog that's created. I never knew before. This is the first time in my life I've actually seen countries drifting toward a major world conflict. And they changed the rules and everything. It's absolutely ridiculous. Now, what's going on? We're going to get to the main story here now. Is we all know that Iran hit Israel with a drone attack in the middle. It was, I guess, nighttime, and there's like 300 drones launched and stuff. And war is one of these things where to save face, they have to hit back and stuff. Well, Israel's hit back. According to the United States officials, it says Israel Gaza Live updates. Israel retaliated against Iran. It says Israel launched retaliatory strikes against Iran early Friday morning, local time. It says the strike followed Iran's attack on Saturday when Tehran sent a volley of more than 300 drones and missiles toward targets in Israel. It says Iran's weekend attack came more than 6 months after Hamas terrorists invaded, and so on and so on. And that's what it goes on, talks about here, is that Israel has retaliated against Iran, according to United States officials. But according to Tehran, it says Tehran plays down the reported Israeli attack, signaling no retaliation. In other words, we didn't see anything. Nothing. We don't know nothing about it. It says explosions echoed over an Iranian city on Friday. Now, this is the same explosions, I guess, they're talking about, and what sources described as an Israeli attack. But Tehran played it down, the incident, and indicated it had no plans for retaliation from a response that appeared gauged toward averting a regional wider war. It said the limited scale of the attack and Iran's muted response appeared to signal a success efforts by diplomats who have been working to avert an all-out war since the Iranian drone and missile attack on Israel last Saturday. So let's see if this does it. We'll see if this really is the firecracker that's fizzling out. It does give them an opportunity on both sides to save face now, and basically kind of pull in and withdraw everything and kind of go back to more or less what we call the status quo, which is everybody understands that they hate one another. Like Israel hates Iran and Iran hates Israel. Everybody understands that in the whole world, I think. And we can go back to that status quo of, yeah, they hate one another. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see what happens with this. We're going to be watching it closely on this channel. But it appears like things are cooling down a little bit for now in this tit-for-tat thing between Israel and Iran right now. And we'll have to wait and see if it heats back up again. Now, we're going to talk about Bitcoin for a minute here. Peter Schiff, he's always hated Bitcoin. He don't like it. He says Bitcoin has no value. And I'm going to tell you what, he's right on certain things here. He's right about Bitcoin and the fact that Bitcoin has such a reliance. He says here, it says, they say Bitcoin is a store of value. This is Peter Schiff saying. But it doesn't have any value. You can't store what you don't have. In a sense, it's like you could have like 50 Bitcoins or 100 Bitcoins or even 1,000 Bitcoins. But where are they? You can only see them if you turn a computer on. Have to enter in a whole bunch of codes and stuff and open a wallet or whatever. Then you say, oh, there they are. There's my Bitcoin. Power goes off. Where's your Bitcoin? This is a big problem for Bitcoin. He says the reason gold is a store of value is I can take the gold that I have, and in 100 years I can make a watch with it, or I can conduct electricity with it. I can use it in medicine and dentistry. Gold has real purpose in the real world, but it also exists in the real world. If the power goes off, if you've got a gold coin in your hand, the gold coin's still there. You can look down and see it. You don't need the power on for it. This is a tremendous weakness for Bitcoin, as far as I'm concerned. The fact that it only exists like in a digital network, digitally. But it does have a tremendous strength on the other side of that. And the strength is that, let's see you take 1,000 pounds of gold and move it from, say, the Americas over to Europe. Real gold. You can't. You can't even take 10 ounces and do that. Unless you want to lose your 10 ounces. But now, Bitcoin, you can transfer it anywhere around the world you can. This is a tremendous strength, and so quick, too. It moves across the internet like water through a hose. Faster than that, And so this gives it a tremendous ability that gold doesn't have. So they both have their weaknesses, and they both have their strengths. But that weakness that Bitcoin has makes me shy from it. I'm like, I prefer to deal in things in the real world, not things that I can only see if my internet is running. You know, and knowing how this system is structured. Anyway, guys, we're going to move on. Take a look now at the silver price. This is the real McCoy right here. This is the real McCoy. Silver is the thing. It is the ticket. This is something special because when you really fully understand what happened is there's deposits in the earth. It's just like anything, you know. I mean, you go to a store and say where they sell, like, say, a Burger King, and you buy yourself a strawberry thick shake. Well, if you start slurping on that strawberry thick shake, when it's gone, it's gone. It exists in the real world. There's a certain amount of strawberry thick shake there, and when it's gone, it's gone. And that's the way with silver. We walked into this world, and there's silver places where silver deposits exist. Rather large silver deposits. We find it here, we find it there. But it's like the milkshake. There's only a certain amount in the ground here and there, right? And so we couldn't really touch those deposits in a meaningful way up until the Industrial Revolution. And then we could just strip those deposits out of the ground so fast with these modern machines and technology once the Industrial Revolution came along. And that's what we've done. And so what's happening is all the milkshakes disappearing. And we're starting to hear that gurgling sound in the bottom of the cup as far as the silver mines are concerned. That's what's called ore grades are dropping. There's less and less for more and more work. More and more work to get less and less silver. That's where we're at right now. And the machinery to get the silver, but they got to have the supply. They got to have the in-ground supply, and they're running out. Running out rapidly, and the world is demanding more. We need more. We need more for retail sales. We need more for industrial supply. We need more when the world's running out. What do you think's going to happen? This is the big one right here. I'll tell you, honestly, most people don't know about this, but there's more gold out there than there is silver. Even though gold's 80 times the price, there's a lot more gold out there than there is silver. And the reason why is even though they haul it out of the ground, like 10 ounces of silver for each ounce of gold they haul out, still they've taken the gold and they've put it away into bars and stuff, and they've kept most of it. It's not used up. Silver, they use every ounce they get. As soon as they get it out of the ground, practically, they ship it off to a solar manufacturing company or gosh knows, and put it into circuit boards or whatever, and it ends up in the landfills. And that's where it's all going. But they're stripping the earth bare of the stuff, and it's going to be way more rare than any other metal out there, practically, because they need so much of it. And when the earth starts to really run out, like the ore grades start to drop, like I think they were like, what was it, like 12 or 14 ounces per ton, and now they're down to what, 6 or 5 ounces per ton. Soon it'll only be at 2 ounces per ton, then 1 ounce per ton. So they got to mine a whole ton of ore, and they only get like 1 ounce. That's where we're going, maybe in 10 years from now. Well, the amount of work involved to mine that out is the same. I mean, it costs the same for, well, the cost is going up. Fuel costs go up. It costs more to crush that rock and stuff. So you see where we're going with this. This is not going to go down. This stuff's, unless we have, look, right now, if we were to see a $15 silver price again, do you know what kind of a depression we'd be in to see that? It would be bigger than the Great Depression. It would have to be to knock the silver price down like that. Of course, they're not going to allow anything like that to happen to their precious financial system. They're going to keep pumping the money out. Free money for all. Live charts, gold, 23.88. My gosh, it's getting up close to that 2,400. It's up $10.90. Silver and gold, this is just the opening salvo of the rally that we're going to be in, silver and gold. This is just the openings. The train still hasn't really left the station yet, because of the amount of money printing they're going to have to do. Bitcoin is starting to warm up again too. $64,434 today for Bitcoin. Ethereum's at 3080, and XRP's at 49.8 cents, where it always is, 50 cents a piece. Dow Jones Industrial Average today is 37,920. It's up 145 points on the day. Taking a look at crude oil. Crude oil is up 48 cents at 83.21 today. Taking a look at our bonds and rates. This thing goes, the yields have been going up for like 2 days in a row, or one day we get a rise in yields of maybe 10% or 10 basis points. And then the next day they come in and they fall 2 or 3 basis points. But the overall pattern is up with yield. So they are in the fallen yield business. Down 3 basis points on the 10-year, 4.61. And the US 30-year is 4.71, and it's down 3 basis points. Notice how they're both down exactly 3 basis points. The two important ones, the 10-year and the 30-year, are the two most important ones, and they're both falling exactly at the same pace. That just reeks of control. Today's a control day. Today's a day where they take some of the pressure off, and then they have to let go of it. I almost think that it's almost like partial yield curve control at this point, and they're keeping it clandestine yield curve control. That has a name, a sound to it. Clandestine yield curve control. But is that what they're doing? Taking a look at the US dollar index today, 105.95. And today she's dropping. She's dropped basically a quarter today. At 105.94, she dropped 0.21 or 0.20 percent. 1/5 of 1% is dropped. At 105.94 on the dollar. But it is dropping today. Thank you guys for listening to the show. Like and subscribe. And you guys have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.